Hi, I'm Chris, and this is Sam. Together we're Wyvern Kodiak. We're friends and engineers that have a passion for knives. We've been enthusiasts for well over 30 years, and we like to get together and talk about the things that we like and we dislike. We challenge each other's thought process, and we certainly grow from that, talking about materials, designs, manufacturing techniques, etc. Today we'd like to talk to you about a knife that's from our home state right here in Indiana, which is Machine Roosevelt XL.
Hey Chris, before we do that, I just wanted to rewind it a little bit, and we did an awesome video last week on the Kunwu Jericho, and you know, it dawned on me, we never introduced any of our viewers to who Wyvern Kodiak is. We said our names, and that's kind of where it ended.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to back it up a little bit and introduce ourselves real quick. And Wyvern Kodiak is a knife design company that Chris and I created. Chris and I have been all over the country to different knife shows. We've handled thousands, tens of thousands, I mean insane amounts of knives over the years. And there are always things that you love and dislike about knives, and we've decided that we wanted to come up with some unique things, whether it's a different locking mechanism or whether it's a unique blade shape, or maybe it's something that is a new take on something that might be old. We've decided that we want to give our spin on that. We got a couple designs that we're working on right now, one that we're real excited about because we're just about prototyping, and we want to talk about those with you today also. But we're going to do our knife review on the Rosie first, but then we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about us. So we'll catch you in a little bit.
So when we start looking at the Rosie, it's made in Attica, Indiana, and the Machine Company has just insane standards, attention to detail. This particular knife is just mechanically flawless. You know, it's funny, when I started to look and I decided that I wanted one of these, I was trying to get my hands on one, and only the second market was the only option. I kept looking, I couldn't get one. Saw that they had a lottery system. I've never even won a coin toss. I certainly wasn't going to win that. And so I think that I had to drive across 4 states when this is only 70 miles away from me. I had to drive 4 states to be able to get it. Luckily, we had a gentleman that came out from Oz that we flagged down while we were in line, and he started chatting with us, and he gave us a coin that would guarantee us to be able to purchase one. In our time there, I did play with the standard size as well as this one, Sam, and I like this one. Like, it just fits in my hand well. I can't find a hot spot. You know, I wear a 2XL glove, and I still have room. You know, with this, I can get my hands on it. I can squeeze hard. The jimping is phenomenal. You know, it just has it's such a slicey blade. And again, the machining on this thing is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it shuts easy. It flips and gets out in a hurry. I would say that I thought the action was slightly better on the smaller ones.
You mentioned that, and I didn't handle them enough to make that judgment call. I wasn't in the market for an Oz. Don't get me wrong. Now that he has one, I'm pretty much having FOMO every time he pulls this thing out. I wish I bought one of these. I think, you know, if I was going to go for one right now, I think I'd probably go for the smaller one, like right now. And I think maybe it's because I know that if I want to play with an XL, I can come to you and touch your XL. And I think if you wanted to play with a normal size one, you can come to me, and boy, oh boy, did that get a little...
There's a joke in there if you want to go search for it.
Don't search for that one. But I think I probably would have went with the original standard size one. And I don't think I would have went with carbon fiber, not because there's anything wrong with that, but just, I don't know. I don't have a skeletonized titanium handled anything right now. I want one, and I just keep seeing pictures of them anode up. It's just gorgeous, and I think that would be the thing. But I mean, just listen, okay? It is the detent on it, click, and it's easy to fly open, right? And that you had mentioned the engineering masterpiece that this thing is. This thing gets machined 1/2 of 1,000th of an inch is the tolerances on it. Okay, I mean the standards out there for a lot of machine shops for signs and stuff like that are like 3/1000ths of an inch. This is 1/2 of 1,000th of an inch. I mean, there's literally no room for error for this to not be the way it is, and it's perfect. You know, look, it doesn't come in lefty, does it come in lefty?
I don't know if it does come in lefty.
I don't think it comes in lefty.
It's not reversible.
It's not reversible, yeah. Correct. Other than that, I mean, what can you say that you dislike about this knife? There's really nothing, right?
Yeah, I think that if you were hunting for something, that you would argue the price. But again, they make everything in-house. Materials come in, ceramic ball bearings come in, they cage them, they put it together, they make everything from raw materials. You know, their back spacers, their hardware, their pocket clips. I mean, all of it is made in-house. And that's what allows those tolerances to be so superb, because they're in control of everything. And, you know, the brothers seem to have a near obsession, you know, with their attention to detail. It's a minimalist knife, I would say.
Yeah, there's nothing cuckoo about this knife. It seems very simple, cut and dry, and yet it's it really is like an engineering masterpiece, like you said. I mean, there's no other words to put on that, right? You typically see with knives, they talk about the point needs to be in line with the pivot. This is a little bit higher than the pivot. They typically talk about the pivot being center on the handle. It's low on the handle. And yet this thing works insanely perfect. And not only that, but I mean, look, they've given it every thought of attention to when I drop this, look, it's not going to get me.
Yeah.
It drops shut. And then that's it. Right? Every time I know I'm completely good, not going to get my finger, and then it drops shut. And it takes no effort whatsoever. And this is really a medium detent knife. Yeah. Right? It's not hard to break.
Yeah, and particularly for a knife it's that size. You know, it's just a little over 4.4 ounces. It's a little over 8.5 inches long. And so, you know, roughly 3 3/4 blade length that I believe, and right at 4 3/4 handle length. And so, again, it's a substantial, you know, size knife. Again, it's the XL, but the balance, and it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't carry heavy, you know, outside of it being wide, and that takes up some real estate in the pocket. But beyond that, I think that they've done an amazing job. I would say that. You know, the price would be a point that some people would argue.
$1,200 is not in everybody's budget for a knife, for sure.
Yeah, and a starting point you can get in at $700, but still, that's a lot of money for a tool.
You talk about size, right? Let's familiarize size so that we can look at this, right? This is the quiet carry drift, right? LCT. So that is where you're at. You're at almost an inch longer on that, right? Here's the Padre from Kunwu. Again, 1/2 inch, maybe 1/2 inch bigger there.
The Super Hawk from Concept.
Were you holding out for me? I told you pocket dump. Seriously, man?
Yeah.
Good Lord, this thing is... I feel like you know, you never pick up something you're not expecting it to be heavy, and then this is this knife.
Yeah. There's no comparison weight-wise. The Rosie XL feels so much lighter, wider blade, a little bit shorter of a knife.
Yeah, it's a half inch, maybe quarter of an inch, half an inch, something like that in there. No, I'm not going to drop this on my finger.
This one's a guillotine.
No, no thanks.
This one's almost dangerous.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to pull a U in Atlanta. He's got the scars to everything he touched. He cut him. Okay, hell, this lady at Kunwu had to practically stitch him up at their booth. He touched the Chad.
Good thing she did, because if Miss Daisy here was driving me, I would have bled out.
Call it like it is, huh, pal? I see how it is. There's a story behind that. I'm sure this is going to unravel through video to video from time to time. But when you're looking at how to do it, I could still get the blade down. I could still get the point down to something. Don't worry, I'm not going to cut myself.
I would have cut myself 4 times already.
I already know that. So I would say that this is still more than, you don't have to get all wonky with your arm or anything like this. This is naturally able to get down to cut what you want. Okay, the handle has several different places. I can grip here really comfortably. I can choke up here. I can pinch grip here and get myself some stabilization from my finger under here. Okay, this has everything you need. Not only that, but turn it around. You want to pull, cut some straps, pull it towards you. I have complete control. I'm not worried about this. I'm worried about you. I have to take your cutlery away from you at the dinner table, but this is not something that I worry about. I realize I have complete control over this knife. Nitpick, really, really nitpick. Finish on one side of the knife drives me crazy. It's an Oz machine, Roosevelt. I'm giving them a free pass because it is an Oz machine, Roosevelt. But the reality of it is that if any other company gave me one of these without the other side being finished, I don't know that I would buy it. And it's not the end of the world, right? It's just, I don't know. If you're going to give me the dress, give me the heels too.
You'd be the terrifying dress and heels. That's an image I can't get out. Now I want to cut myself.
Here, I'll give you the knife. Asshole.
Yeah. And I think that for me, I don't carry this at work. I think that's a little too intimidating for most office workers if I pull this out. And again, all I would cut at work is box, a tape off of a box, or open it up to put more paper in the printer. So I'm not framing houses or doing drywall work or anything where I could put a lot more pressure on this knife. But that said, I think this blade and pivot combo could handle it if somebody were to put it through the tests there. Yeah. But I think that there's alternatives if somebody didn't want this. I think that, the porcupine or the Vosteed porcupine here has a similar blade shape. Mm-hmm. And it's probably more in size of the standard. But again, for $60, $65, you get the same kind of cutting action. And, I think that one's phenomenal as well.
Oh, yeah. And that, 100%. Is it an engineering masterpiece like that? No. Okay. But for $65, you're going to get a really nice, solid performing blade. It's reliable. You're not going to cry if you scratch it up, if you bang up the tip on it. You'll use this without giving it a second thought. Yeah. I know if I was going to cut something with that, I might have to wonder whether or not I'm going to cut it, because it's like, do I cut it and am I going to damage the blade? And that's a $1,200 knife. And
and be honest, I didn't buy this to be a heavy work use knife, right? I bought it because it's an engineering masterpiece, because it's mechanically flawless, because this knife it's more than a knife. This is a case study for American craftsmanship. I think that what this knife brings to the table is small town, rural America bringing its best work ethic to the table. And and it's just something to be inspired. There's a lot of places I go to now in urban and suburban areas where I'm just not impressed with the quality of service I receive, with the quality of products I receive, and it is pretty cool. And for me, being an Indiana guy, that one of the most sought out knives in the industry right now is one that's homegrown. So I like that, and certainly wanted to support that.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. One of the other things that I would say is, yes, the porcupine is a good alternative to it if you want something on the budget. If you have a little bit more money for the budget, but you're not looking to buy a $1,200 knife, the quiet carry drift LCT or the regular drift, right, which is really, without the thumb hole there. Great knife, amazing action, quality materials, titanium, Vanic steel, and they're under $400, and they're engineered phenomenally. Their tolerances are super tight, on point. You're not going to go wrong with one of these. Is it a perfect knife? Nope. Is that a perfect knife? Probably as close as you're going to find right now, in my opinion. And not speaking for you, but tell me one that's more perfect on the market for you right now. Because for me, I don't think there's one out there for me.
As far as a knife that I would use, this isn't the perfect one for me. I gravitate towards the McNeese-Dixon. I love that one. And I pick up the Knives Offender. Those two are typically the ones fighting for space in my pocket, when I'm working. I really love those, both of them. And again, I'm not doing heavy tasks. I break down boxes, things like that. So it's not like it's overbearing, overtaxing on the knives. And I'm sure, this amazingly treated or heat-treated MagnaCut in this would work just fine. So I would say for me, I would probably go with the McNeese, all because of the finish that's on it. There it is. I can't scratch it up. Even if I did, you couldn't tell. So that for me, and if I've got a pretty knife, I want a pretty knife. I want to keep it pretty. I don't like my tools getting all dirty and beat up.
If I was going to talk about the perfect knife for worker tasks, okay, I mean, Demko's for me, right? I mean, you damn near unbreakable lock on this thing. Fidgety action, super, super high quality engineering on it. You can get the Shark Cub, which is this one, 20.5, and still get them for a couple $100, even less in some cases, depending on what steel you choose. So, I think that's something that to think about there as well. But if you're talking about a fidget-friendly, pretty knife that you can sit there and just open and close and listen to all day.
Yeah, and Sam, I mean, we can beat a dead horse with this. I think that we start thinking about what we would do with our design and how we would do things differently. And I'm hoping that our first prototype, when it comes in, I'm hoping that we've got the geometry, the materials to make it sound a lot like this. I like jimping. I would like more jimping along the top, and this one's too thin to do. Yeah. But even on my McNeese, that's the one thing that I would say feedback. I really like to feel locked in. And so when we start to look at things that we're going to do, that's one of the things that I really want to bring to the table is some of the likes that I have. Take these inspiration from so many of these amazing knives that we have, and then begin to develop things of what would I do if I could do it a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up a good point about taking some of the inspiration from some of the other knives that we really love. Because we have, I mean, between both of us, we have a ridiculous amount of knives in our collection, right? So there's there's something from a lot of them that we can probably take. Our design, though, we're going to take a little bit of a different approach to. One is, how many shapes or how many times do we see the same shape over and over again, right? It's regurgitated almost out there. So can we get something similar to a shape, but maybe not exactly? Sure, maybe. I'd like to do something different. Locking mechanisms, well, the first couple, I don't think we're going to invent anything new. I'm working on something with Chris right now on a locking mechanism that we're going to engineer for a future. But right now, I think we need to just dip our feet in the pool and kind of get our bearings about us in the knife making world. We are a couple weeks away from ordering our prototypes. And our knife is, the first one that we're looking to do is going to be a crossbar lock. It's going to be a, we made up the blade shape, so I can't even call it anything, right? It's a Warncliffe, it's a drop point, it's a leaf shape, it's a
flat grind.
Yeah, it's a hollow grind, it's a flat grind, it's a weird bastard. That's all you can call it. But the fact is that it's going to be something that other people haven't seen. And we are super excited to make it stuff that we really like, higher end, right? We're not looking to dump any cheap steel and any cheap handle materials out there, but at the same time, we want some individuality to the knife, right? Some unique, how can each person have something that might be a little bit different, something that speaks to them, right? So, you know, I'm dropping some breadcrumbs here. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet.
I think we've got some work to do. We've got, finalizing our CAD phases right now, working with a couple of different manufacturers. So hopefully we'll have something to show you pretty soon.
Yeah.
We absolutely love feedback. So please let us know in the comments things that we can improve upon. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.